This isn't about the law. This isn't about politics. This is a witch hunt. This is a politically motivated investigation based on one thing: fear that Donald Trump will be on the ballot again in 2024.
That there is Roger Stone blasting New York's investigation of former President Donald Trump here on National Report, describing it as a reaction to reports the former president may be planning another run. Joining us to discuss is former New York City mayor and personal attorney of former President Trump, that is Rudy Giuliani. Mr. Mayor, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming on. We just played that soundbite there from Roger Stone.
I heard it.
Yeah, do you agree with what he said?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, let's face it, both of them, meaning the attorney general and the district attorney, have been for several years saying they're going to get Trump. In fact, the attorney general ran solely on that platform. So this is an investigation in search of a crime, not a crime that's being investigated. They've gone through his whole life searching for something they can make into a criminal act. That's a very, very dangerous thing to do in America. In fact, it's very anti-American and I think unconstitutional. I mean, we don't do it that way in America. We don't pick somebody and say, oh, gee, we're going to search your whole life and we're going to try to find a crime. I don't know how many people could stand that scrutiny.
Yeah.
What we usually do is we have evidence of a crime and then we find out who did it. That's the way I was taught to be a prosecutor in the United States of America. The other way is the way they used to do it in the Soviet Union, in East Berlin, and now do in China. They go after people, not crimes.
The crime they're looking at here.
It's a disgraceful thing that they're doing. And, instead of all these disbarment proceedings against people who represented Trump, some of these people should be considered for disbarment proceedings.
What they're looking for is the overvaluing of assets, borrowing against banks here, digging into.
How many years ago?
Right. But we don't know.
I don't know how far back they went. Look, Donald Trump's life has been investigated over and over again. He goes through year and a half audits every year from the IRS for the last 30 years. So you can be sure that by the time the IRS is finished, they've extracted everything they can. If there was a crime to be prosecuted, the IRS would prosecute that crime. They have no special love for Donald Trump. We're going back years before he was, Donald Trump. So these people are politically motivated, poor excuses for public servants. You're not supposed to use the criminal justice system to persecute. You're supposed to use it to investigate real. And here we are in a city that has a 50% increase in homicide, a 100% increase in shootings, and the district attorney, who has to handle the core county, Manhattan, is wasting his time on searching Donald Trump's life for the last 2 years to see if they can find some frame-up that they can come up with. What has happened to us? What has happened to us? Just for him to even think he has the time to do that means he's not worried about all those bodies on the street, which is one of the reasons why the city's gone back to the way it used to be before I became mayor.
And so many topics there to discuss on that, especially New York City. I have a limited amount of time, so I want to ask you about this because I know you had some words on Twitter about it. The current president, President Biden, said in Oklahoma in his speech that the racist events of the Tulsa massacre in 1921 have permeated into today's culture. Let me play this for you, get your reaction.
Millions of white Americans belonged to the Klan, and they weren't even embarrassed by it. They were proud of it. And that hate became embedded systematically and systemically in our laws and our culture.
And you went on to tweet the following here. This is your tweet. Is there a day that goes by that Biden doesn't attack our country as a systemically racist, evil country, end quote. What is your reaction to hearing the current president's speech?
My reaction is, first of all, I guess he would know. He was very good friends with head Klans members. I don't recall ever being friends with head Klans members, so I guess Biden would know. But I think maybe he, because of that friendship, he imputes that to all of us. I mean, the man has been attacking America now for 5 straight weeks. Every time he talks, we're evil, we're horrible. A systemically racist country, maybe his cognitive impairment doesn't allow him to understand this. A systemically racist country systemic means throughout the organization. permeated with. So he could say America is permeated with racism. Basically, you're all racist except a few people. Now, that's not true. He knows that's not true. He's lying. He's lying for political effect. And it's another indication of how people all over the world laugh at this man. I mean, I guess he's fortunate he got through the sentence. He could have said, instead of systemic, he could have said, I can't remember what I'm going to say, or started saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Who knows what he could have done? But in any event, he should stop criticizing this country and kind of work on the things we have to fix, which he doesn't do.
Well, one of those
he told his vice president to fix the border. She's never even gone there, and now she's quit. It looks like.
She's backing away from the southern border, the issue there. One of the things that the president gets criticism on is finding out the origins of the coronavirus. Now, this is finally a question within mainstream media journalists now, as well as Dr. Fauci. What does this administration need to do to find out the origins of the coronavirus?
Stop protecting China. Might be hard for Joe, though. They paid him $30-40 million. So it might be hard for Joe to be fair and objective with regard to China. He sold his soul to China, way back in 2015, 2016. In 2018, he had a contract with them for $10 million a year. I mean, he and his son have collected millions, of which he's gotten half. So, I mean, I don't know if he's capable of not falling over backwards for China. The reality is you have to be cognitively impaired not to realize this comes from China. I knew it from day one. I do a radio show on WABC on Sundays with a co-host, Dr. Maria Ryan. The day it happened, she had it all figured out because she had been reading the journals. This is not Fauci and him and what they were saying about a bat biting somebody or eating a bat. They were making that up from the very beginning. That's a story to protect China. That's typical communist Chinese propaganda that was being sold to the American people by most of our media, by the Democrat Party, and by our cognitively impaired president. This emerged from the Wuhan lab. I had Dr. Yan back on my radio show again. She first broke the story with Dr. Ryan, and Dr. Yan did the investigation for China. And she had to run out of China because they were going to kill her. And she can explain in great detail the chemistry of it. Now it's been supported by a really unbelievably good article done by a former New York Times medical reporter. So there's no doubt that this comes from the Wuhan lab. Only question is, was it deliberately done, or was it an accident?
Yeah, and then the question remains, and the intel, to be fair, the administration has called now for more an investigation to find more intelligence on this.
Dr. They can investigate more, but they don't have to.
Yeah, Dr. Yan has
really
been on this show.
Quite obvious where it comes from.
There were whistleblowers out there. Look, I'm out of time. As you know, you do your own show.
You.
But I got to say happy birthday to you, by the way. I saw you celebrate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, always good to see you, Rudy. Thank you so much for your time. Rudy Giuliani.
Have a good day.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.